give up on the battle, baby. It's hard, I know.
Trying to find a good place for the camera here. We're gonna be moving around a lot this video just to try to keep things interesting. So welcome to the Q&A. Hopefully you guys get something out of this. First question, if you can go back to a period of your life, what year or age would it be and why? I mean, I'm pretty content with where I'm at right now, but if I could choose one to go back to, it would probably be high school. I know a lot of people hated high school, but I had a blast. I mean, you really didn't have that much responsibility. You had fun almost every single day. I mean, you really didn't have anything to do after school, so you could go, you know, just hang out with your friends or do whatever you needed to do. And it was just so much fun. High school football games, and hey, those were the good times. Those were the good times. All right, next one. What are some things on your bucket list? Definitely one is go to Italy, ride gondolas, drink a bottle of wine, just because I feel like that's something everyone should do in their lifetime. And hopefully meet a nice Italian woman, bring back home with me, you know, make my wife have some beautiful Italian children. Sounds pretty good. A woman who would never let me eat any fake Italian food like that. I'd like to make enough money to buy myself an Audi A5, hopefully buy all my friends new cars as well, kind of like Mr. Deeds, if you guys are familiar with that movie.
Can you believe Deeds bought us all these?
And even buy them some houses, but not move in with me, just houses around me. We can all be neighbors. They're not moving in. My friends are slobs and a bunch of drunks. Own a minion. Is that creepy? Kinda.
Last one, I was getting way too distracted in the grocery store, but I want to create a business. I don't know what yet, but hopefully a very successful business that will obviously be able to support myself and my family and the people around me, hopefully make me very filthy rich. But I also want it to be a business that employs a lot of people, or at least a good amount of people, and to make sure that it is the best job that they could ever have asked for. Only because I feel like I've been very fortunate in that every job that I've had, or at least most jobs I've had, I've really enjoyed being there because of the leadership and the people that I've worked with. So if I can provide that to other people, and when you think about it, how much of your life do you spend working? So if you're happy in that position, and if that is exactly what you want to be doing, then chances are you're going to have a pretty happy life. So that is the end. Well, there's a lot of things obviously that are left on the bucket list, but let's just go with those.
What is your biggest fear? It's a good question. Let's see. For the grocery store to run out of ricotta. No, I'm just kidding. I'd say one of my biggest fears is not being able to be a provider for the people that I love. Obviously, I'm still young, but when I get older and have a family, a wife, and kids, that is probably the biggest concern to me, that I'm not able to provide. Obviously, the essentials, food, water, shelter, but even things beyond that, nice Christmas presents, cool things they want to go do, places they want to go. I think one of the biggest luxuries I've had in my life is, you know, I've always had enough. You know, I didn't grow up rich, I didn't grow up poor, but I always had nice things and I was always provided for. And that's definitely something I want to be able to give to other people in my life. And it's just very fulfilling when you can provide someone else with a better life. So that is probably the thing that's always in the back of my mind. I make a lot of decisions now, a lot of sacrifices right now, and I work very hard to make sure that I put myself in a good position so I'm able to do these things. And I'm not wearing any pants. How often do you think people actually record themselves with pants on? That would be an interesting statistic.
What made you want to study business/finance? What other degrees were you interested in studying at university? And if you were to go into another field of work, what would it be? I think I really got interested in finance just because I wanted to learn more about money, how to invest it, how to make more of it, and I'm still the same way. I'm still trying to learn. And at first I thought I wanted to go work on Wall Street, and then I was like, maybe I'll just be a financial advisor, work with clients and tell them how to invest their money. And then I went to the corporate world, which is pretty different, but you know, we still, I guess, take the same concepts, return on investments and all that good stuff. But it's just not always gonna work out how you plan it. But that's all right. And then what other degrees was I interested in? I actually started out college. This is very strange, but I started as a dual major as finance and marketing. And that's ironic because now you hear me make all these marketing jokes, but to my defense, this was before I knew what marketing was. See, what I wanted to do was I wanted to work for a big corporation like Nike, Kellogg, any Fortune 500 company that you can think of, and I wanted to be behind their commercials. I wanted to create the commercials, maybe do the jingles, you know, could you just imagine me making some rich homie jingles for Nike? And so once I figured out that that's a very rare and probably not going to be working in that type of job just because you have a marketing degree, I wasn't interested. And I think it was a pretty good decision for me. And what's the last part of the question? What field would I be in if it wasn't for like business or finance? I don't know. I really, maybe I'd be a rapper. Yeah, let's go with that. So how did I get into powerlifting? Honestly, it had a lot to do with Matt Ogus. When he was making videos almost on a daily basis a few years ago, he was running Windler 531, and for whatever reason, the idea of training for strength just really appealed to me. I really liked the math behind it, working with all the percentages, and really just focusing on something more than just aesthetics, because honestly that wasn't very motivated to me. So I started watching him, and he kind of set the trend in YouTube fitness, in my opinion, and so you can see a lot of people are now into training for strength, which I think is a great thing. Dinner party question. You can have dinner with 4 people, dead or alive. Who would be at your dinner party? Well, that's the easiest question that anyone's asked me, so I would not need 4 people. You could actually take every famous actor. You could take all my role models, actors, artists, whatever, models. You could put them all in a room and it would not faze me, because I'd choose my mother, and that is the only person that I would pay any attention to. As sappy as that might sound, that is just the truth, being 100% honest with you all. I'd be a terrible host, I'd be very rude, because my full attention would be on her the entire time. And that would be pretty awesome if I could make that happen. I definitely would, and guess what? We would have tons of lasagna with tons of ricotta, and it would be magical. Let's get on to something a little less serious. So this question essentially asks, between lifting, YouTube, and my full-time career, how do I manage my time, and do I find that having a lot of responsibility helps with my time management skills? The answer is absolutely yes. I think the best way to get better at managing your time is to take on more and more responsibility. I really think that that's going to be the only way to help you learn. And you know, there's a lot of different things you can do to help free up a lot of time. I call this trimming up the fat. I say my biggest pet peeve are people that waste time, especially my time. I don't care if you want to waste your own time, but you just have to become more efficient. Do not surround yourself with people that waste your time or things that waste your time. And that's the biggest piece of advice I can give to you. And also, don't waste energy and time stressing about how you're gonna get everything done. You'll be much better off if you just end up doing it. Just make it happen. It doesn't matter how you get it done, just do it. If there's things you wanna do them. I mean, you don't have to really sit there and think it all through. Sometimes you just have to go through the motions, and at the end of the day, you will figure it out. Did you ever have that aha moment where you looked back and everything has changed, or you realized that you needed to make some type of change? That's deep. Yeah, of course. I think we all have that moment of time, and for me, it was when I finally graduated from school. I was in college in total for almost 6 years, 3.5 undergrad, 2 of graduate school, and I was so excited to graduate. I had been in there so much longer than everybody else, and I was just fed up with it. I was ready to be done. So finally, on my graduation day, I walked across the stage, I got my degrees, and there's a lot of stuff going on at that time. And I remember I didn't want to go do anything afterwards. I was being a little Debbie Downer, so I went home, and it was almost like a dramatic movie scene. I was just sitting in the dark in my apartment wondering, like, what happened in my life? Like, how did I get here? Everything that I had planned had just crashed, and I was like, where do I go from here? Everything that I had known is gone. I mean, everything was going to be brand new to me. And that was a pivotal moment. It wasn't like right then at that time, but over the next few months, I knew that I really needed to make some adjustments in my life if I wanted to be at the point in my life that I would consider myself successful, happy, and accomplished. And really, a lot of me changed in that moment. I know that's bad to say nowadays, where, oh, you've changed, and I can say without a doubt, I have changed. If you take me in 2015 and compare me to me in 2012, it is a drastic difference. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I actually think, conversely, it's bad if you don't change. If you're not changing with the times, if you're not changing from your experiences, you're probably doing something wrong. So that was my moment. I was in my feelings. I was feeling sorry for myself. But guess what? I got over it. Well, kind of. This question's gonna add on to the last one. You're always happy and positive about everything. Have you always been like that, or what helped make you this way? And I'm human. I wish I could say I was always happy, but I have bad days just like everybody else. And remember, when people put themselves on the internet, it's usually the best of them. So hopefully I show you my better days. But no, like I said in the last question, I've changed a lot, and that has definitely been one thing that has changed about me. So growing up, I would say I was spoiled. I was a good kid, I hope, but I wasn't always like this. You know, I didn't always see the glass half full. And I think it's just basically from life experiences, and the big thing is perspective. It's just realizing that my worst day is better than a lot of people's best day. And when you think about people that are living sick, that are living
and poverty, stuff like that, it's hard to get down about, you know, my little issues. I mean, we're all gonna have rough times. We're gonna have people that die. We're gonna have people that break our hearts. We're gonna go through different things, but it's all about how you react to it and just keeping a good perspective on things. And that's essentially the approach that I take. Who is your biggest influence / idol in your life, and who is your biggest influence / idol on YouTube? Well, if you learn one thing from this video, it is going to be that I was extremely close to my mother. So that is an easy answer. She is without a doubt the biggest idol that I've ever had. Just a completely selfless person, and I really admire that. And obviously I could go into this question very in depth, but I'm not gonna go into too many details. Just the fact that I really aspire to be everything that she was. So before we go into more, we'll just go on to the next part of the question, which is, who is your biggest idol on YouTube? That's a tough one. I'd have to go with probably Jeff's side. As you can tell, Jeff is looking pretty shredded nowadays. So I'm sure most of you know that is actually my friend Brandon Campbell, and I've said this in a previous video, but I probably would have never started this channel had it not been for him. I needed to see if there was someone in the corporate world doing this and being successful at it for me to really buy into it, and he has definitely done just that. I mean, over 100,000 subscribers while working a full-time job is pretty impressive. I just think he really brings top-notch content between his quality. His videos are very informative in my opinion, and believe it or not, I actually enjoy his sense of humor, and he's helped me a lot since starting this channel. Really since day one. He was probably one of my first 100 subscribers, and he's helped me immensely, and I mean, I'll forever be grateful for that. A few other people that have really influenced me in YouTube would probably be Matty Fusaro. I've watched him for a lot of years, and for whatever reason, I just think he's very relatable. I think he's very down to earth and just a good person. And Frank and Harry from Bodybuilding Bros. I think they're starting to make a comeback back to the YouTube, but Frank was actually in graduate school at the same time I was when I started watching him, so obviously I thought that was relatable, although he was becoming a doctor and I was getting a master's of business, so not that relatable, but you know, and I just think, you know, those guys are, you know, kind of like me, so those would probably be my biggest influencers. Let's cut it off there. I think that's enough for this video. I have a feeling that this video, this Q&A, probably took longer to record than any other Q&A in the history of YouTube. But that's okay. Hopefully it was a little bit different. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this. Did you like it, or would you rather have me just sat here and looked at the camera the whole time in one position? I figured I'd switch it up a little bit. So if you enjoyed this video, please give the video a like. I'd really appreciate that, and it would mean a lot to me. Thank you for taking the time out of your day to watch. I really hope you learned something. If you guys want some more Q&As, just let me know in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys next time.